subject.
All right, so on the line right now, actually, we have Melisza Campos of Dale Carnegie. Last time, she was, Corey, you remember when she came in the studio and was kind of breaking down some workplace dynamics and social situations? And
how could I forget? Melisza, you are one of the most energetic people I have maybe ever met. Just it's that contagious energy, too, that's so great when you walk into a room. That may have been one of the most enlightening segments we probably have ever had on the show before.
Exactly. So that's why we thought you'd be perfect for this. Melisza, after hearing Brittany's call.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I already hear you. Yeah. Do you think she did the right thing?
Well, so she said that she was professional about it, and my first question would be, what is that? What should it sound like? Because there's two things. One is, if we're going to manage up, and if we're going to potentially accuse someone of being disrespectful because maybe they don't know, one of the things that's so important is that we have specific evidence. Not you always treat me disrespectfully, but like last Tuesday, when this happened, here's how it impacted me.
Gotcha. You can't generalize that stuff.
Yeah,
because it's easy for them to refute it.
Okay, so if someone's experiencing something like this, like what Brittany said she was experiencing, where the boss is being awful to them, should you just start kind of documenting when things happen so you have a list that you can pull out? Because you're right, you pull that in front of them and say, there's this instance, this instance, this instance. That's damning evidence, right?
Yeah, it is. And here's the unfortunate part is that 75% of Americans say that their boss causes them stress.
Wow.
I mean, that's huge.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So there's a couple of things. So one is document some of the specific things. Two is if you've got a good relationship with HR, get some feedback from them as well. So because that's their job as well, is to be like that gray area to help employees.
Okay, because that's a little different as it is with like personal relationships. Because when you have an issue with someone on a personal level, you go directly to them. And when you're in the workforce, you actually have that buffer, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways. I would also, if it were me, I would find someone that I trust and get some feedback from them on how to approach it, because they know that. If they know that person, you can't handle each person the same exact way.
You're right. I think that's a mistake a lot of us make in the workplace, trying to manage everyone the same way. And each person's different, and each person has different feelings about different things, and each person's motivated by something different, you know?
That's exactly right. So it's important to be specific. It's also important just to help her, because sometimes we let that feed off that negativity that our boss is giving. All we can do is focus on what we can do in each day. So making sure that she's setting goals for herself each day, and, so that she has that sense of accomplishment, as well as being able to make a decision just to let it go. And the other piece that's important is, a lot of times people are like, I just need to vent about this. And sometimes venting can be really destructive. So make sure if you're going to say something, make sure it's something that you would be comfortable saying to the boss, too. Because you never know, that can get right back.
Yeah. That makes it a lot worse.
Exactly. So, what's important also is the delivery of it. How did she say it in the moment when she was emotional? Or was she very empathetic? Maybe ask a question and say, how do you think I'm doing in my role? So get the boss talking first, so that then we can figure out what their perception is of us.
You're right. How many times have we blown up at work because of stress or feeling neglected or feeling emotional, and things come out, and then later, this happens in life too, later when you're more calm, you're like, uh-oh.
Exactly.
Why did I send an email? No.
That's right. That is right. And the thing is like how she felt so good and liberated, typically that rubs off, right? So that's what I would ask it, because there's times where I've had to deliver tough news, or I had to have this conversation, and I have to make sure I'm very aware of my body language, how I'm saying things. You know, I'm someone that can be very direct. So I really try to dial it back and bring my calm, centered self.
Oh, yes.
It's not always easy.
Zen.
You know, and that, if I'm cognizant of it, typically people are more open. And here's the thing, I'm not saying not to have the conversation. You do. You need to make sure the other person is open up, because as soon as they feel like they're accused, their defenses go up and they either shut down or they'll react right back at you.
Right.
So that's, it's just so important. And then when you have the evidence and the impact that that particular situation has on you, then you can start a dialogue. You can have a conversation with it and leave the door open.
So to summarize, make sure you don't do it in the heat of the moment when you're emotional. Think rationally. Be prepared with specific instances. Don't generalize when you have to confront your boss about an issue. Be prepared to listen to what they have to say. And when all else fails, go home and have some wine.
Let it go, right?
Let it go. Melisza Campos from Dale Carnegie, you are so enlightening and so helpful. We really appreciate you jumping on and helping us with this.
I love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Great weekend.
You